Hey everyone, KM4FPA here, and I want to talk to you briefly about ham radio repeaters. A repeater is a radio that's set up to retransmit your transmission, thereby usually extending the range of your transmission. Usually, repeater radios are set up with an antenna on a tall tower, giving it a lot more of a range. Especially for VHF and UHF frequencies, which require line of sight, little handy talkies like this Baofeng don't get very far, particularly if you have trees and buildings around you. On mine, I can maybe get 4 miles max. Um, but if you're talking to a repeater, so another radio that has a nice tower, this can reach all the way to from where I'm at, Bartow, which is over 30 miles, and extends the range of my little $30 radio quite a bit. So to explain this a little bit further, you have line of sight. So your radio pretty much needs to see the other radio. Not like you could through binoculars, but there can't be really anything in the way. So you need line of sight, and these little handy talkies they're not tall enough to get there. If you stood on top of a big hill, you could do just as well as a repeater would do, because generally, like I said, it has an antenna on a tall tower, and that gives it the advantage. Just that height above the ground, so it gets away from anything that would be blocking the signal. So repeaters are really, really cool. It allows you to use a very high wattage radio with a nice antenna on a nice tower from your $30 radio. My favorite repeaters that I use are Ni4CE. It's actually a set of repeaters here in Florida. It covers the entire, not the entire, but the majority of West Central Florida. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. For example, I transmit into Bartow, and because I'm right about here. So I transmit into Bartow, and these repeaters are linked. So that Bartow repeater keys up all the other ones, and they all send out my transmission, or anybody else's from any of the other repeaters. So it gives you a nice wide area of coverage. Another big advantage is usually these radios have a form of power backup. So in the event of power loss, especially here in Florida because of hurricanes, you could still use these towers as a means to create order from that chaos, to still reach everybody. Generally, repeaters also require a PL tone or a CTCS tone, so that way they can make sure that a spurious transmission or something that wasn't meant to go on the repeater, that it doesn't respond to that. So for example, Ni4CE requires a PL tone of 100 Hertz. You have this same handy talkie, that's menu 13, and you can set that up. PL tones go between 67 and 200 Hertz, at least from what I can see on this radio. One more thing I wanted to show you was how to find more repeaters. You can go to Repeater Book, and here you can click your country. You can click your state. You can click which band you want, 70 centimeters for UHF. And it will list all the repeaters available, their frequency, the offset. Generally you send a transmission for UHF 5 megahertz above what you're listening at. That way you can send the signal to the repeater and it can retransmit out, and those two radio transmissions don't overlap. So here we can see the frequency, the offset, the tone that's required, and the location. So radio repeaters are really cool. I encourage you to check them out, find the ones around you, and probably program them into your radio. For anybody talking, that's where you're going to be able to listen to them. So if you're just trying to find other people using frequencies, it's most likely going to be the repeater frequencies. So that's all for now. Check them out. Check out Ni4CE if you're in Florida. And yeah, thank you for watching. This is KM4FPA.